We started out in August of 2007, we started our partnership. The Bishop of Haiti, when I called him, said, no, I would rather give you your own partner. So we got our own partner, went down there, talked with them to figure out what they needed, and they needed help with their school. So we came back and just started raising money from the parish to support the school. They have a big conference every other year, about every 18 months or so, called the Haiti Connection. And at that conference, I met Diane Pisey, who is the head of the Haiti program at St. John's in Minneapolis. And that's a parish that partners with a church down the hill from ours. And we share the same priest. We started talking and we decided we would join forces and do mobile medical clinics at both locations.
I went to a nutrition clinic with a Haitian nurse where there were malnourished children between the ages of 6 months and 4 years. And I was completely overwhelmed by the scene of these hundreds of malnourished children. And I said to the nurse, how do they get medical care? And she said, well, they really don't. And I said, do you have American doctors come and work with you? And she said, no, I've never seen any. And I said, well, I'm going to come back and work with you. Kerwin Delicate, the priest, said, well, if you're doing these clinics, why don't you do clinics for us? We organized a clinic, which was a complete disaster. We didn't know what we were doing, and we didn't get our medication ready in advance, and we didn't have enough medicine, and we didn't have enough people, and it was very difficult. So in June of 2009, we had a big group, and we did them, and they were a little bit better. We were a little bit more organized. And then the earthquake happened in January. So then we said, well, how are we going to get back? And we didn't know if we could.
After the earthquake, I got to go up to our community one day. As I was walking up the mountain with our priest, this man and his wife came running out of their house. He recognized me and he said, you know, I was at your clinic and when are you coming back? Because I had a stomachache for 30 years. And because of the medicine that you brought, I now don't have a stomachache anymore.
Bon, communauté a li gen paquet bagay li manki. En dans communauté a nous pas gen route, nous pas gen l'hôpital. Des fois malade, moun yo kon malade, c'est porter yo pour y aller l'hôpital avec dans tête, dans bon carcéré.
Ou bien dire comme si tant que là pas l'hôpital juste sans frontières, sous un problème pour aller tant même qu'on a te mettre faire journée ou pas qu'à passer ou obligé négligence.
Parce que fait ça longtemps, à chaque fois que je viens, j'ai une chance pour m'inscrire, mais longtemps ça m'a malade, j'ai tout côté passé, j'ai une solution. Bon, j'ai un affaire Maxo, et puis moi et puis on parle ça ensemble avec elle, en même temps tout, mais c'est malade qui fait me trouver là aujourd'hui.
Qui est malade ou bien chérie? Faites attention.
J'ai anémie, hypertension, acide.
The biggest problem is malnutrition. Everybody is undernourished. That's a term that the World Health Organization uses, that just about everybody is undernourished, underweight for what you would consider normal in the US, and anemic, and probably short of many minerals that we're not testing for. Related to that is parasites. The first year that we came, practically every child had a huge distended abdomen, which is from malnutrition and parasites. And now we hardly see those anymore. Practically every person who isn't treated, especially every child, has roundworms. We actually feel like that's one of the best things that we can do, is treat everybody for worms and bring them vitamins and minerals. And skin diseases, and I don't know if we can take credit for this, but we used to see scabies and ringworm just covered the children. And now we see some, but it's just not nearly as bad. So we're hoping that by treating them, even though it's only every 6 months, that we are making a difference there. We want the continuity of care. So we put people on medication for blood pressure and diabetes, and they need to be followed up 2 times a year is what we can afford to do time-wise and money-wise. But they need the continuity of the same people coming back so we can follow up and keep seeing them.
2 years ago, we started sending our Haitian doctor, Alex, up every 3 months. So they actually got to see, our community actually saw a medical person every 3 months rather than every 6 months. And then last fall, we started sending a Haitian nurse up once a month. So little by little, we'll get to the point where we'll be able to establish a full-time clinic. So our goal is to put ourselves out of business so that it becomes completely Haitian supported.
Bon, je suis Alex Lebrun, je suis médecin, j'ai 33 ans. J'ai choisi la médecine juste pour aider les gens. Je donne des conférences, exactement sur le choléra. Je parle avec beaucoup de gens, comment se laver les mains. Et je les informe aussi, comment éviter à prendre des maladies à transmission féco-orale. Précisément les maladies parasitaires. Je lui parle aussi de la typhoïde. J'ai rencontré Diane exactement à l'hôpital Sainte-Croix. Ce groupe, bon, je le trouve bien. J'ai 3 ans avec ce groupe, je le trouve bien. Nous travaillons là-bas exactement, c'est parce que nous touchons un domaine qui est vraiment important. C'est le domaine santé. Okay? Parce que le fait que nous pensons avec la population haïtienne qui vraiment besoin de santé, qui a un de santé, également, pour moi, nous touchons côté plus sensible. Exactement, c'est pour ça que moi, le groupe fait un bon travail.
Avec consultation, il y a un médecin, ça prend du temps, et ça fait nous pas.
We give them their medical record forms and ask them to bring their own medical record forms back so that we can check, and a lot of people do, so we know that the same people are coming back. Maybe 3/4 do. They come back and we ask them, so did that get better? Did you feel better when you gave them that medicine? And they often say, yes, they did. One of the other illnesses that I didn't mention was stomach pain and acid and probably ulcers. They all complain of acid and terrible heartburn. And another group did a study of a bacteria called H. pylori, which is a bacteria that causes gastritis and ulcers. And there's 4 different medications that you can take in a 24-hour period that treats H. pylori. We call it a PREV pack. We learned that from another group. And you give them the 4 medicines all in one day in 4 different doses. And people come back that have taken the PREV pack and say, oh, they felt so much better and that terrible acid hasn't come back. So for instance, this year we made 100 packs and we only gave 50 of them out, whereas other years we've run out because so many people have needed them. So I think that is making a difference.
The dental treatment was revolutionary because you had people who had never seen a dentist in their whole life.
The key phrase is sustainability. These 2 communities that we visit here with this team, because of church companionships, have a stable relationship. They are now close to having their new schools built. And if that can happen, we can certainly have facility that would be healthcare. And the other part is how do we influence the situation to be able to train and allow people to follow up with what we do and or work with us like I do with Dr. Emmanuel Bastien.
The Episcopal Nursing School, luckily, is right there in Leogane where we stay. So we've established a relationship with them. That's where the nurse who goes up every month is from. The great thing about the students is that they get to learn from nurse practitioners who teach them techniques. So it's a really great training ground for those student nurses.
Anytime the patient comes, they says what the problems, the sickness, and they speak Creole, and I translate into English for them. Sometimes I help them to go back and forth, if they are unable to walk. I don't think there is really a vocabulary I can invent to tell you how helpful this clinic is. I think the healthcare is really, really, really precious, and I think it should be the first thing.
Bon, problème la santé dans la communauté, moi son gros problème lié vraiment parce que moun yo gen pile problème par rapport de l'eau traitée pour laver mes yo. Et puis avec dehors là tout gon tiyo là, on voit chaque jour y a goumé yo pile dans tiyo après ça t'a bon petit tout.
Problème la santé ça va en forme même parce que nous va gagner l'hôpital et parfois les cliniques la viennent là, s'il laisse aller une aide après ça, faut que c'est les organes ou bien Port-au-Prince pour nous aller et côté pour d'avoir soin qui bon même ou pas gain possibilité pour lui. Et c'est son seul jour nous toujours joindre. Si nous avons plus, nous avons bien plus monde parce que il y a des gens qui pas gain temps participer dans un seul jour. Zone nous route nous pas en forme. Si nous t'es qu'à joindre, si t'es qu'à gagner possibilité nous donner quelques aide pour route nous.
Communauté a mérité un l'hôpital. Pas un centre communautaire non, un l'hôpital et que qui a hospitalisé moun sous fait accident, sous gen tranché. Si yon aide vini, li bay $100,000 pour payer, yo gen doit faire comme ça sur internet, yo doit soit sur net, ou ka wè ça, mais là yo dit dans télévision bien dans journal, yo pas bay bon vérité ya. Et puis l'argent yo préféré payer vagabond fonta de bagay avec pour faire des ordres et puis yo pas aider haïtiens en population en vraiment. C'est que moun nan ouais pour plein poche li courir belle machine mais le pas ouais malheureux qui dans la rue.
Pour la santé on connaît mon gain des moments les ou pas comme dans mon et qui a pas chaque jour mais avant de passer la cycle on va écraser toute banane net qu'on y a assez reprendre il va reprendre en chaîne encore comprendre il va reprendre en chaîne encore.
Dis-nous comme ça, combien de temps le cas pour retourner normalement j'en hier?
Bon, moi-même, je ne peux pas connaître parce que je connais combien de gains, mais je ne sais pas combien de rete. C'est net là que je connais.
I've heard that argument from people. It's a drop in the bucket. Is it really worth it? Is it worth your time? Is it worth your money? I mean, I think we've seen demonstrable improvement in the health and welfare of this particular community. I think it's really important, and I tell people who want to do mobile medical clinics, you need to go back to the same place over and over and over again. It's not a vacation. You're not there, oh, this year I think I'll go to, Ethiopia, next year I think I'll go to Honduras, because you'd like to go to those countries. Well, that's fine to go to the countries, but go for vacation. But if you want to make a discernible difference in somebody's life, then you need to go to the same place year after year and time after time and get to know the people and get to establish a relationship with people.
We asked Alex to find another Haitian doctor, so this time we had Patrick DeLance. So this was the first time we'd had more Haitian doctors than American, and I think that's moving in the right direction.
Qu'est-ce que je pense pour la santé en Haïti? Cette question, c'est vraiment bon. Une très très belle question. Je pourrais construire un hôpital, un dispensaire, et aller auprès des gens qui gouvernent pour leur faire part de mon rêve. Si le groupe n'a pas venir, parce que bon, généralement, le groupe a commencé à venir. Ça doit arriver avec l'âge, nous n'avons pas qu'à venir. Mais en plus, on doit aller et puis après renouveler. Exactement, je suis médecin, j'aime mon boulot. Bon, en revanche, bon, je suis satisfait. Je suis satisfait. Beaucoup de joie, bon. Je suis satisfait de mon travail. Uniquement de la joie. Parce que moi, je le fais par amour.
Dieu l'avait bien prédit qu'en ce monde d'aujourd'hui, que beaucoup de chrétiens prendraient de faux chemins. Satan le diable est là et nous suit pas à pas pour nous fuir loin de Dieu, voulant nous rendre heureux. Au sein des religions, oui, c'est la confusion. Dieu l'avait bien prédit, prophétie accomplie. Beaucoup de religions, oui, c'est la confusion. Tant de sectes fermées, formant des sociétés. Qui sont-ils ces méchants, voulant trouver l'argent, disant oui, c'est ici qu'on peut trouver la